Shalom Aleichem and a Chodesh Tov. This is Rabbi Kovacs, and Mishnah Yomi is continuing in chapter 8 of Yoma. Yesterday we just covered Mishnah Aleph, about the 5 forms of self-deprivation that we practice on Yom Kippur, called the Chamesh Inuyim. Recall these were eating and drinking, and washing, and anointing, and wearing leather shoes, as we'll see, and marital intimacy. Now, in Mishnah Beit, we're going to further define these restrictions. Ha'ochel kekotevet agasa, one who eats the size of a large date, a plump date, kemocha ukegar inata, the size of the date, including the pit, v'hashote, and one who drinks, melo lugmav, the size of his cheek, chayiv. That is chayiv. Now, on Shabbat, Mishnah Shabbat, we said chayiv, if they did it by mistake, was a chatas, and on purpose, if there was witnesses, could even be a skila, even an execution by the court. Here, the punishment for purposeful violation of Yom Kippur is karet, is a spiritual cutting off. And the Mishnah continues, Kola ochlin mitzdarfin lekakotevet. Any food item can combine. You could have different foods that combine to add up to the shiur of the plump date. Kola mashkin mitzdarfin lemelo mulugmav. And all of the liquids combine for the shiur as well. Ha'ochel v'shote ein mitzdarfin. But food and drink do not combine together. One is the liquid, one's the solid. And this is even though really drinking is part of eating, it's part of the same process, but they do not combine. So this Mishnah is the source of the concept we call shiurin, which literally means sizes, but the idea being that if somebody has to eat on Yom Kippur, but they can keep their eating to less than this size, less than this kotevet agasa, and they're drinking to less than the lugmo, then it's not quite as bad. Now, there are some Rishonim who say it's still aser deraisa, but it's not chayav kares, and kares is bad. Lo aleinu, we don't want that. So obviously, you have to consult your local competent halachic authority. Ask Rabbi Silber, ask Rabbi Richter, ask your local Rav if there's an issue that comes up where somebody might have to eat on Yom Kippur. Obviously, if it's a case of pikuach nefesh, of mortal danger, then we would allow eating and drinking. That's simply to save a life. But if the issue is somebody is truly suffering, there's a medical issue, there's a need, you consult your local rabbi, and there are ways to deal with these shiurim. On to Mishnah Gimel. Achol v'shata b'helem echad. He ate and drank in one unawareness. He woke up that morning and he thought it was just a regular Shabbos and not a Yom Kippur, and he had a little snack and a little cup of something. Eino chayev elachatas achas. He's chayev once. This is similar to a discussion we had in the Mishnayot in Shabbat. If somebody did an av malacha, the larger category, and also a tolda, the subcategory at the same time, is a similar concept. The Mishnah says, Achol v'asa malacha, if somebody ate and also did a malacha, chayev shtei chatat. He did it by mistake, so he brings 2 sin offerings. Of course, on Yom Kippur, milachot, constructive activities and labors like we have on Shabbat are also forbidden. And the restrictions on eating, drinking, etc. are an additional level of prohibition that's only on Yom Kippur. So if somebody did a malacha, any of the malacha we discussed in Masechet Shabbos, and he also ate, then he's chayev twice. Mishnah continues, Achol ochlein, he ate food items that are not really fit to eat. Something that's very, we're going to see, very bitter, very unpalatable. Shata mashkin, generally in lishtia, he drank fish brine, Rav Reiner says, disgusting. Shata tzir el he's drinking these brines, or these like, the kind of like the gooey fatty stuff that oozes out of fish. Yeah, no one eats that stuff. Putter. So these things are not considered edible. So they don't bring a person any satisfaction for consuming them. They're not really a food. Now the shiur of kekotevet, we usually see kezayit. Kezayis is usually the shiur of achila. If there's a restriction on eating something, it's usually a kezayis. The kezayis of chaylev is the common example. And here the koteves is a little bit bigger than a kezayis, because the pasuk says initim et nafsho shechem. There's an inui. There's a sort of an affliction, a bit of a suffering. And simply, if somebody's hungry, then eating just a kezayis doesn't really satisfy the hunger. It needs to be slightly more, which our sages established as a koteves hagasa, as we saw in Mishnah base. Sei gesund, Chodesh Tov.